They wouldn't allow us to go swim at the local pool because that's where you got polio.
Here we were afraid of this disease that was going to paralyze us.
The way I remember it from a child was that if you got it, a lot of times you died. My mom wouldn't let us eat anything outside because she thought it would get the polio germ on it.
I remember I was in the hospital for a long time that summer. While I was there, I received a lot of books and stuffed animals. My parents took all my books and stuffed animals and clothes out to the backyard and burned them. They were so afraid of the germs. It was very traumatic for me, and I cried.
We knew what polio could do. And a lot of people just resisted getting their kids shots with polios. But boy, we didn't.
A giant step toward a healthy, happy future was taken by this little Kansas town in 1957. Taking inspiration from its name, Protection citizens resolved that their town would be safe from polio. Their town would set an example for the nation. On April 2nd, everyone under 40 lined up for his first shot of Salk vaccine. On April 24th, they turned out for their second shot. And 7 months later, their third shot. Protection, Kansas became the first town in the nation to have all citizens under 40 fully vaccinated against crippling polio. It was a great achievement.
I was 18, it was 1948. My kidneys quit working and they sent us right to Wichita. After that, yeah, the community as a whole was kind of wondering who was going to be next.
In 1949, there was a polio epidemic. My mom and dad and sister Evelyn had gone to visit my aunt and uncle for a fish fry and homemade ice cream. That night, I was very sick with a high fever.
I had polio in the fall of 1952. I was 6 years old. We'd been to the state fair and came home sick.
I always had a limp. Yeah, they called me Chester from Gunsmoke because he limped. And even to this day when I walk, people like strain their neck to turn around to look. Mm-hmm. And I used to think one time, well, if I walk this way, maybe I'll attract a handsome man. Something like that, you know. If they're looking, maybe they'll see something else.
I was measured and fitted for a long metal brace with leather straps and a knee lock. One day at physical therapy, after I had gotten my brace, I was able to stand up, holding myself between two bars. The therapist said if I could take that first step, I could walk.
I do remember not being able to breathe. And then I remember waking up and being in this tin can thing over here. I was in the iron lung for 6 weeks. I learned to eat and drink, and I learned to mirror read before I learned to regular read.
They took me in an ambulance to Warm Springs, I'm pretty sure. 30 to 60 days. After I got sick. I learned how to swim just using my arms. And these smiles weren't for the camera. It was a happy place. It was better than okay, it was the people. They didn't treat us like kids or patients.
Warm Springs was one of the most meaningful, wonderful experiences. My belief is that with every loss you have to go through the grieving process to grieve your loss. Never did grieve the loss of the ability to walk. Never did. And it's all due to Warm Springs.
Out here, if you need help, you just shake a tumbleweed and a farmer falls out.
I got off the train and there is this band there to meet me.
The first grade class bought me a record player and records. When I was in the hospital, the town took up a collection and bought an iron lung in case I needed it when I came home.
When I got a job at the post office, she says, well, you're limping. I had to work for 3 months at half the pay to prove myself that I could do the job.
It forced me to direct my life in a way that I felt like I needed to. It defined it. It's not my identity.
Like I say, I'm the luckiest boy ever walk out of St. Clair to the hospital, but they told me I'd never have a memory, never walk. By the time I was in high school, I played football for 4 years in high school, and it didn't bother me a bit.
I read a letter from my mother that she wrote to my aunt. She said, Lois Ann is outside on the sidewalk trying to skip with her brace. If anyone can do it, she can. That has pretty much been the challenges in my life. I have been a very determined woman.
They expected me to do what I could do and what I wanted to do, and they helped me figure out a way to do it. And that's the greatest gift that my folks gave me, was the independence to live my life as I wanted to.
Your disability is not the end of the world. It's the beginning.
On December 2nd, Basil O'Connor, president of the National Foundation, presented a plaque to the townspeople in tribute to their leadership. Protection people knew polio can seize the sturdiest man.
Polio is not a dead disease. Polio is very much alive. The only way to keep it dead is to continue to get vaccinated.